We often think of progress as this long, slow, gradual thing, but sometimes a single day can literally change the whole game. Today, we're going to be code archaeologists. We're digging into the story of a massive AI project called Woodbury, and we're going to do it by looking at the code committed on just one day, March 14th. It's a tiny snapshot that tells a huge story. Okay, just to set the stage here. On that one day, March 14th, a single developer dropped over 8,350 lines of new code into the Woodbury project. I mean, come on, that's not a bug fix, that's a statement. This was a day of massive, intentional change. And that really brings us to the core question of this whole explainer. What can you really learn from one day's worth of code? How can we unpack the entire strategy of a complex system just by analyzing the work from a single pivotal day? It's like dusting off digital fossils to see how this thing truly evolved. Now, the work on March 14th wasn't just a random flurry of activity. The project log shows it was this super concentrated push that delivered 7 key interconnected improvements. And that's our roadmap for the next few minutes. So here they are, the 7 big moves from that March 14th commit. We're going to group these into a few main themes to make sense of it all, starting with how the project brought some serious discipline to its AI code generation. And that's all about those first 2 items on the list. So the first major theme of the day was this huge shift from, just hoping for the best to actually planning for success. It's all about making AI-powered generation more predictable, more reliable, and honestly, more like a real engineering process. It was a move from a simple one-shot deal to a full-on multi-step architecture. Before this day, creating a new automation pipeline was a bit of a gamble. You just describe what you wanted, and the AI would try to generate the whole thing in one shot. But on March 14th, that all changed. The process became a multi-phase architecture. First, it makes a plan. Then, and only then, does it actually start building. And you can see that new process right here. Instead of one giant leap of faith, it's all broken down into these manageable steps. The system analyzes the task, breaks it down into what they call subcontracts, and then generates the code. It's exactly like an architect creating a detailed blueprint before a single brick gets laid. Every part now has a clear, predefined job. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. The project log itself spells out exactly why this was so important. Just letting the AI go wild was causing all sorts of errors and confusion. This new pre-plan acts like a clear, structured brief, giving the AI the guardrails it needs to actually get it right. The big lesson here? A little discipline up front creates a ton of reliability in the end. Okay, so we've seen the changes under the hood, but what did this actually feel like for someone using the system? Well, the changes on March 14th weren't just for the engineers. They also made the user experience way better, making the whole dashboard feel more alive and transparent. I mean, just look at this. It's so simple, but so profound. On the left, you've got that classic, tiny spinner of doom. Is it working? Is it frozen? Who knows? But on the right, you have the new reality, a clear progress bar that tells you exactly what the system is doing step by step. And this isn't just about looking nice. According to the logs, some of these AI generation tasks can take a minute or even longer. Can you imagine just staring at that little spinner for 60 seconds? It's stressful, it creates uncertainty, but watching the system move through concrete phases, well, that builds trust. You know it's working. And on top of that, another small but mighty change was adding timestamps to the pipeline sidebar. Before, it was just a list. Now you can instantly see what you worked on 2 hours ago versus something from last week. It adds this crucial layer of context to your workspace. All right, our third and final theme from this one incredible day. And this one is a real game changer. This is where Woodbury started treating its automation pipelines not as just disposable scripts, but as shareable, reusable products. Okay, first, a little lingo from the Woodbury logs. These pipelines are officially called compositions. The slide mentions they're a directed acyclic graph, which is really just a fancy way of saying it's a workflow with a clear start and a clear end. Information only flows one way, which makes the whole thing predictable and super stable. So how do you turn a simple script into something truly valuable? Well, the March 14th update brought 3 key ingredients to the recipe. First, automatic documentation. Now, anyone can understand what a pipeline does without being a coding genius. Second, these formal interface contracts, which are like a promise about what data goes in and what comes out. And finally, rich outputs, letting you see results as nice-looking cards or galleries instead of just a wall of code. Altogether, these changes turned simple automations into powerful building blocks that anyone could use. Okay, so we've gone through the details. Let's pull back now and connect the dots. Why does this one single day matter so much? What's the big picture here? And here's the thing, these 7 improvements weren't an accident. They weren't just a random to-do list. They were the direct, coordinated execution of high-level strategic decisions that were made just days earlier. This wasn't just a busy day of coding. This was a plan snapping perfectly into place. And get this, we can actually prove it. Just look at the logs from the week before. The team had decided to move to contract-driven automation, to make the dashboard the main focus, and to treat generation like an engineering process. Sound familiar? Every single change we saw from March 14th maps directly back to one of these strategic goals. It's incredible. And this quote from the project's own files really just says it all. The big shift wasn't a single feature. It was a change in philosophy. It was the decision to stop letting things be implicit or guessed. They were making everything explicit. Explicit plans, explicit user feedback, explicit contracts. They were trading a world of ambiguity for a world of clarity. And in the complex world of AI, clarity is everything. So the story of March 14th is really about how discipline and clear rules can transform a powerful but kind of messy AI system from this mysterious black box into a reliable, trustworthy engine. And it leaves us with a final question to think about. What other complex systems out there in our world desperately need their own March 14th? What other black boxes need to be opened up and made clear for everyone?